Hi, Dad. How are you today?
Hey, Jordana. It's great. We're having a wonderful summer because it rained last night and it cooled down. And we've all been plagued by the heat across the United States. But last night, we watched a wonderful, wonderful movie on Hallmark. And we went to Italy. And we had a wonderful time. It was a wonderful Hallmark film. And I think you, your mother, and I really enjoyed it. What did you think about that movie?
So I loved last night's movie. It was called Two Scoops of Italy, which, if you were going to guess, two scoops of anything sounds delightful to me. And that meant that it was two scoops of either in America, maybe ice cream, but in Italy.
It's gelato.
Gelato. And, who doesn't love good gelato?
And you know, it was so realistic. The whole story was something that could really happen. And I learned what goes into making a gelato. When we go into our local stores, we watch them scoop out the gelato, and we have no thought of how gelato is manufactured or even thought about. And Hallmark taught us something yesterday.
Well, what I learned too is Italian gelato. If you notice, when they were showing the gelato,
yes,
it didn't look like the gelato here, where it's like fancy. The gelato, when you go to these gelato stores, is fancy with all the stuff on top of it, right?
Yes.
And I didn't see that as much as a highlight of all the stuff on top.
Well, tell the story a little bit behind.
All right, let's go into the story. So we have an American chef. Her name is Danielle, and she's played by. She's been on Hallmark before. She's not new to Hallmark at all.
Yes.
But if anybody is a soap opera person, she actually won 2 Daytime Emmys for Young and the Restless. Her name is Hunter King. Fantastic actress.
You know what? And she played a wonderful part in the Hallmark. And she was terrific.
She was in our one of our favorite Christmas time ones about the corgis. Remember the cute little corgis that the Queen has?
Oh, it was wonderful.
So, and then Giancarlo, our male lead in this one.
Our leading man, yes.
He was played by a newcomer to Hallmark, Michele Rosolio. I think, it's an Italian name because he is an Italian actor from Naples.
He played the part beautifully, like an Italian, right?
He played himself. And it's fun when Hallmark does this passport to romance, or, till last year they took us on all the weddings around, because they take us to the countries and film in those countries and cast in the countries.
Well, the filming was in a small village that was actually just outside of Rome. And the village goes back hundreds of years. And we were taken on a tour of the village. We saw the villagers, and they were part of the cast. And you felt like you were on a vacation trip to Italy.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
It was fun. And there was a whole story behind this. So this leading lady was struggling with a menu concept for her restaurant in America. So she traveled to Italy for inspiration and found, of course, traveling inspiration. Yes. But I love the idea that she went to this little bed and breakfast there and was given from the lady of the home of the bed and breakfast a book. And we find out later in different things that this book has meaning to it, but she kind of got inspiration through this book and played this bingo or this Italian bingo and followed the lady in this book.
I thought it was interesting that the Italian bingo is different than American bingo. But that was what's so nice and fun about Hallmark, is that they showed us the culture of the people. Yeah. And we were part of the Hallmark movie. It was so fun.
Wow, creating new gelato flavors.
Yes, and who would have thought one of the flavors was dragon fruit. And when I was growing up, no one ever heard of dragon fruit. And in fact, when you were growing up, there was no dragon fruit. And now every store has dragon fruit, and you can get it in the red, or you can get it in the cream
The
yellow color.
yeah, which is my
Yeah.
preferred flavor. I
Yes.
love the yellow dragon
But
fruit.
these are very popular, and in Italy they have dragon fruit gelato. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's amazing. But watching this and having them come up with the flavors and the hazelnut one and the
Yes.
combinations with when she got there as a chef, she was able to say, try this with yolk in it, with the
Yes.
pistachio
Who
flavor.
would have thought how you make it?
Yeah.
And hazelnut is very common in gelato. It's Nutella,
Yeah.
which we hear, and Nutella comes from Italy. Who would have thought? And it was just wonderful. And how did you like that plot?
I thought it was great. I really did. Who doesn't love a good love story wrapped around some food?
It was so realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you felt like you were part of the scenery and watching this love story unfold, because it was very, very sort of normal.
So I thought like last year's was all around weddings, right? This year, the Passport to Love, all around food. So
Yes.
if you notice, we had the honey, we had last week Greek recipe for romance,
Yes.
we had the cheese in France, and now we had 2 scoops of gelato, right, in Italy.
Hallmark brings us so that we can not only enjoy the love story, but we can enjoy the culture that Europe has developed and has brought to the United States with all of our immigrants who have come from Europe or from anywhere in the world, and they bring their foods and their stories with them, and they become part of our culture.
And we get to see the places, like just seeing where they went for the spices, like
Yes.
for the basil and the tarragon, and when you had her close
Oh.
her eyes and to smell it, you were able to almost smell it with her.
And that's what the chefs do,
Yeah.
and that's their specialty. And most of us don't give much thought to the combination of peaches and mango,
Ricotta
and
to make,
Yeah.
amazing.
And they make beautiful presentations and wonderful food. But I thought this was a wonderful Hallmark.
Yeah, I would give it 4 stars. What would you
Yes.
think? Or 4 cheers?
I give it 4 stars. It was
Yeah.
just so much fun. And what's coming up soon?
So, we were watching the premieres this week, and we saw A Christmas in July. And I said to you, Dad, is next week July already? I thought it was still June.
Well, next week is just the beginning
Yeah.
of
June 29th. It's
June
close
29th.
enough, Hallmark says.
That's right. And you know what? We can use that relief. We need winter back because the whole country is suffering from heat and heat exhaustion. The world's suffering, and we're having tornadoes, and we're having firestorms, and we're having floods. And maybe we need Christmas with its beautiful snow and the wonderful foods, and of course, there is still love.
There's
around
lots
Christmas.
of love.
Absolutely.
There's lots of love to be found on Hallmark. And so Hallmark is taking us, or bringing us, I should say, 5 new premieres for Christmas in July, which is why I think they're starting it a week early, because there's only 4 Saturdays in July.
Yes.
So they are premiering next week. There's 5 premieres. Falling Like Snowflakes. And this is about a photographer who is trying to capture a 12-sided snowflake and photograph it. So she is going to be trying to capture
We'll see how Hallmark does with that.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. So that's the first for the premieres. Then we are doing an extended cut, if you remember from last year, of the 3 Wise Men and a Baby.
Yes, right.
So they're bringing back a premiere of the extended cut, and then we have Rescuing Christmas, a very Vermont Christmas, and lastly, an Ice Palace Romance.
We're going to enjoy, at least on Saturday nights in July, feeling like we're in Christmas. And hopefully the weather will cooperate. And I think that everybody will enjoy celebrating Christmas in July with Hallmark, because that may be the only cool thing we'll have in July.
And the fun thing
Yes.
is, if you missed any of your favorites from the last season, all month long, they play over and over again your
Yes.
favorites from last year all week long all month long. So if you missed one of your favorite movies, check on the calendar of the Hallmark Channel. Of all of their channels, I think
Yes.
you can check on the guide, and you can find your favorite and rewatch it.
And it is almost football season again, and we're going to be able to watch the Kansas City Chiefs with maybe Taylor Swift coming back to watch her loved one. And who would have known? 8 months ago, we were talking about the love affairs and the love life of Taylor Swift, and it's still going strong because it's Hallmark, and Hallmark's about love.
And we have the Olympics coming. We have so much stuff
Oh
coming.
my gosh, it is great. And again, we want to thank everybody for watching our Hallmark series.
Yeah, we're almost at 100 subscribers.
Oh, great. And we want to say hello and give a shout out to our wonderful audience in Connecticut, and especially Andrew and Jessica, our fans. And we want to wish everybody a wonderful end of June and a happy summer. Looking forward to July, Hallmark, Christmas in July.
Have a great one, guys. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.